When saving money becomes your worst financial mistake, you've been told your entire life that saving money is good, responsible, smart, the foundation of financial security, and you've listened, you've cut expenses, you've skipped the coffee, you've said no to dinners out, you've watched your savings account grow and you've felt proud. But here's what nobody tells you. Saving money can destroy your financial future. Not always, not for everyone, but for many people, the obsession with saving becomes a trap. A comfortable, socially acceptable trap that feels like progress, but is actually stagnation. And by the time you realize it, you've lost years, opportunities, and wealth you'll never get back. This isn't about reckless spending. This isn't permission to blow your paycheck on things you don't need. This is about understanding that saving money is not the same as building wealth, and confusing the two is one of the most common, most expensive mistakes people make. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Your savings account is losing value every single day. Inflation is real, it's constant, and it's eating your money. If inflation runs at 4% per year and your savings account pays 1% interest, you're not moving forward. You're moving backward, slowly, quietly, but backward nonetheless. You look at your balance and see it growing. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. It feels like security. But that 20,000 buys less today than it did 2 years ago, and it will buy even less 2 years from now. You're working hard to save money that's shrinking in real value. That's not financial intelligence, that's financial erosion. But this goes deeper than inflation. The real cost of excessive saving isn't what you lose to rising prices. It's what you lose to missed opportunities. Every dollar sitting in a savings account earning 1% is a dollar that could be working harder somewhere else. In investments, in education, in skills, in a business, in assets that appreciate, in opportunities that compound. Time is the most powerful force in finance, not discipline, not frugality, time. And every year you delay putting your money to work is a year of compounding you'll never recover. Let's say you save $5,000 a year for 10 years. You end up with $50,000 plus a bit of interest. Not bad. Now let's say you invest that same $5,000 a year in a diversified portfolio, averaging 8% annual returns. After 10 years, you don't have $50,000. You have over $73,000. That's $23,000 you left on the table by playing it safe. And it gets worse. Over 20 years, the gap explodes. Savings might get you to $110,000. Investment gets you to $247,000. Over 30 years, savings gets you $170,000. Investment gets you $612,000. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between struggling in retirement and living comfortably. That's the cost of safety. But people don't invest, they save. Because saving feels safe. Investing feels risky, and we're taught from childhood to avoid risk at all costs. Here's the problem. Avoiding risk is the riskiest thing you can do. The risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of doing something. The risk of stagnation is greater than the risk of volatility. The risk of inflation eroding your savings is greater than the risk of a diversified portfolio losing value over the long term. But that risk is invisible. It doesn't announce itself. You don't wake up one day and realize you've lost 30 years of compounding. You just get older, look at your savings, and wonder why it doesn't feel like enough, because it isn't. Now let's talk about the psychology of excessive saving. For many people, saving isn't about building wealth. It's about feeling secure. It's about control. It's about fear. You save because you're afraid of losing your job, afraid of emergencies, afraid of the future, and that fear keeps you paralyzed. You hoard cash because it feels like protection, but what you're actually doing is protecting yourself from growth. There's a difference between a healthy emergency fund and pathological saving. A healthy emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in cash, easily accessible. That's smart, that's necessary, that's the foundation. But if you have 2 years of expenses in savings and you're still adding to it instead of investing, you're not being responsible. You're being afraid, and fear is expensive. Here's what happens. You save and save and save. You feel virtuous. You feel disciplined, but you never move forward. Your net worth grows slowly, linearly, while people who invest grow exponentially, and the gap widens every year. Then, when you finally decide to invest, you're decades behind. You've missed the most powerful years of compounding. You're starting late, and you'll never catch up. This is the paradox of safety. The safer you play it, the less safe you actually are. Let's talk about opportunity cost. This is the invisible price you pay for every financial decision. It's not what you spend, it's what you don't earn. When you save $1, you're choosing not to invest it, not to learn with it, not to grow with it. And that choice has a cost. That cost is every dollar that dollar could have become. Most people never calculate this. They see saving as purely positive. But every financial decision has a trade-off, and the trade-off of excessive saving is delayed wealth, delayed freedom, and delayed life. Let me be clear. I'm not saying don't save. I'm saying don't stop at saving. Saving is the beginning, not the end. It's the foundation, not the house. And if you spend your whole life building the foundation and never building the house, what's the point? Here's another uncomfortable truth. People who save excessively often do it because they don't know what else to do. They don't understand investing. They don't understand assets. They don't understand how wealth actually builds. So they default to what feels simple and safe. But ignorance isn't safety. Ignorance is risk. And the cost of financial ignorance is enormous. If you don't know how to invest, learn. If you don't know what assets are, research. If you don't understand the market, educate yourself. Because staying ignorant and staying in cash is not a neutral decision. It's a decision to lose. Now let's address a common objection. But what if the market crashes? What if I lose everything? First, if you're diversified, you won't lose everything. That's not how it works. Markets go up and down, but over long periods they go up. That's historical fact. Second, if you're young or middle-aged, a market crash is an opportunity, not a disaster. Prices drop. You keep investing. You buy more shares for the same money. When the market recovers, and it always recovers, you're ahead. Third, the fear of losing money in the market is dramatically overblown compared to the certainty of losing money to inflation. One is a possibility. The other is a guarantee. But people fear the possibility more than the guarantee because it's more visible. You don't see inflation eroding your savings day by day, but you do see the market drop 20% in a bad year. So you focus on the thing you can see and ignore the thing that's actually bleeding you dry. This is why financial education matters. Not because it makes you smarter, because it makes you less afraid. And fear is what keeps people poor. Let's talk about another way excessive saving backfires. It limits your income potential. Money isn't just for hoarding, it's a tool. You can use it to increase your earning capacity. You can invest in education, in certifications, in skills, in a business, in networking, in relocation, in tools and equipment, in marketing yourself. But if every spare dollar goes into savings, you never invest in yourself. You stay where you are, you plateau. And over time, your income plateaus too. The people who build real wealth don't just save their way there. They use money to create more money. They invest in assets. They invest in themselves. They take calculated risks. They understand that spending money strategically can earn far more than saving it conservatively. This doesn't mean buying courses you'll never finish or chasing shiny objects. It means identifying where money spent could genuinely increase your income and having the courage to make that investment. But if you're locked in a scarcity mindset, you can't do this. Every dollar feels too precious to risk, so you save it, and you stay stuck. Let's talk about what actually builds wealth. It's not saving, it's ownership. Wealthy people own things that appreciate. Businesses, real estate, stocks, intellectual property, assets. Poor and middle-class people own things that depreciate or nothing at all. They work, they save, they spend, and they stay in the same place. Saving is not ownership. Saving is storing, and storing cash is the least efficient form of wealth building that exists. If you want financial security, you need assets. Assets generate income, assets appreciate, assets compound. Cash just sits there. This is why rich people stay rich and poor people stay poor. It's not because rich people save more, it's because they own more, and they understand that ownership, not saving, is the path to wealth. Now let's address the people who say, but I'm saving for a goal, a house, a car, a wedding. That's different. Short-term saving for a specific purpose is smart. You don't invest money you need in 2 years. You keep it liquid. But if your goal is 5 years away or more, you should be investing, not saving. And if you don't have a specific goal, you definitely shouldn't be piling cash in a savings account. Because here's the thing. Most people don't actually have a goal. They're just saving because it feels responsible. They have some vague idea of the future or emergencies or retirement, but no concrete plan. And without a plan, saving becomes an end in itself. That's not financial planning. That's hoarding. Let's talk about another trap: lifestyle sacrifice without purpose. A lot of people save aggressively by cutting their quality of life to the bone. They never travel, never eat out, never enjoy their money. They live like they're broke even when they're not. And for what? So they can die with a big pile of money in the bank. Life is happening now, not in 10 years, not in retirement, now. And if you're so focused on saving that you're not living, you're doing it wrong. This doesn't mean spend recklessly, it means spend intentionally. It means understanding that money has 2 purposes: security and experience. You need both. If you optimize entirely for security, you sacrifice life. If you optimize entirely for experience, you sacrifice stability. The goal is balance, but most people who oversave never find that balance. They defer joy indefinitely. They tell themselves they'll enjoy life later when they have enough. But enough never comes. The goalpost keeps moving, and they end up old, comfortable, and full of regret. Here's a truth that's hard to accept. You can't take it with you. At some point, you have to spend your money, and if you wait too long, you might not be able to enjoy it. I've seen people save their whole lives, then get sick or old, and realize they wasted decades being cautious. They have the money, but they don't have the health or the energy to use it. That's not success, that's tragedy. Now let's talk about the people on the other end of the spectrum, the ones who can't save because they're barely surviving. This entire conversation doesn't apply to them. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, covering basic needs, you're not oversaving, you're struggling. And the answer there isn't to invest more aggressively. It's to increase income or reduce costs to create breathing room first. But for everyone else, people who have savings, who have stability, who have the capacity to invest but choose not to, this message is for you. You're not being responsible, you're being scared, and that fear is costing you. Here's what you should do instead. Build your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Once you have that, stop. Don't keep adding to it. Shift your focus to investing. Open a brokerage account. Start with index funds. Diversified, low cost, simple. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to pick stocks. You just need to consistently put money into the market and leave it there. Automate it. Set up automatic transfers. Every month, money moves from your checking account to your investment account. You don't think about it. You don't decide. It just happens. And then you wait. You don't check it every day. You don't panic when it drops. You don't celebrate when it rises. You just let time do its work. This is how wealth builds. Not through heroic saving, not through extreme frugality, through consistent, patient, long-term investing. Most people never do this. They wait for the perfect time. They wait until they understand everything. They wait until they feel ready. And they wait forever. There is no perfect time. There is only now. And every month you wait is a month of compounding you lose. Here's the final truth. Saving money is easy. It's passive. It requires no knowledge, no risk, no growth. That's why so many people do it. It feels like progress without requiring change. But real financial security doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's effective. And what's effective is putting your money to work, not letting it sit idle. If your savings account is growing, but your net worth is stagnant, you're not winning. You're treading water, and eventually you'll drown. Stop confusing activity with progress. Stop confusing safety with security. Stop letting fear disguise itself as responsibility. Your money should be working as hard as you do. If it's not, you're leaving your future on the table. So ask yourself, are you saving to build wealth, or are you saving because you're afraid to do anything else?